on the floor. That's not just like, that's it. It's Rudy's, isn't it?
Yes, that was a typo.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's his name, that's what his Facebook name is,
Yes.
Who's that?
George,
George.
because it's George and Annie's. Yeah. All right, call to order Historic Preservation Commission meeting, March 19th, 2025. Roll call, Clay Burkett here, Clay Camargo. Here. George Louise, Chris Sutton, Hope Wilson,
Here.
Allison Daglow,
Here.
and Kim Shaw, not here. All right, we need 3 for a quorum and we have 3 for confirmation. Approval of minutes from February 19th.
And I emailed those minutes out to everybody.
Yeah.
Just for the recording, I will abstain since I wasn't here to confirm minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Did you read the minutes? Hope? Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
You know, did you attach an event flyer to the minutes? I didn't. Oh, that's right there. Is that what you?
This is the event flyer
Okay,
for this meeting. Mhm.
I moved that the minutes be approved as read.
I will second. All in favor? Aye? Aye. All opposed? All right, minutes approved. Old business, Klein Museum. Looks like Allison has reached out.
I had reached out to Indiana Landmarks on that, and I just had a quote from the email on there. And if you'd like, I can read that out loud. It just says, many communities have a local designation application. I did not find that the city of Angola had one. However, I have found some references to other applications that other places are already using. That is something that I'm working on right now, so I'm working on that documentation. But it does sound like the Klein Museum, when the document's ready and we're ready to move forward, they would initiate that. So they would fill out the documentation, the legal description, and then the map of the area that they're looking at making the single site historical landmark. So it's right now for me, it's in the researching stages.
Okay.
As we talked about in the last meeting, mayor had approved to do the single site. You weren't here, but that was approved.
Okay.
But the next step would be the documentation and then.
I'm wondering if there was an application for the city building when they became a single site.
Which building?
The city building
Well,
over there.
I think she said she's found some that can help her as a reference, right?
Yes, I just want to make sure that
Examples,
it's
not the
has the right
yeah.
verbiage and everything.
Yep.
So.
And I just wanted to say that the Historical Society applied for a national register, and we are a member of the National Register. So I have the application for that, which is just about probably everything.
Okay.
So we are ready anytime because.
Would you like to send me that?
Yeah,
information?
I will find it and get you a copy.
Okay.
Okay, old business, we had elections.
It was just a recap.
Yeah.
Clay, you were voted chair, Claudia, vice chair. And motion carried. Hopefully that was okay with you, Claudia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I seen it and I was like, well,
I kind of made the decision.
and I made the decision for you last time.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it'll be fine.
It's very dangerous, not shot.
Yeah, I see.
But yeah,
I
gave you, yeah.
No,
All right.
thank you, and it's fine.
All right, and the updated facade grant, I don't know if you got a copy of that, but they upped some of the amounts and stuff that they were giving different people, because
That went from.
$5,000 doesn't get you very far these
Yeah.
days, so we upped it, or well, the city upped it. All right,
And that change was made on the fourth quarter. The changes were approved at last meeting, and the grant has been uploaded onto the city website.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's out there.
Okay, new business. Main Street inquired if any events were happening at the Klein Museum in May for Historic Preservation Month. Okay,
And I was
Eric, do you
hoping
know?
we could inquire with you. No.
No,
We don't.
nothing?
We don't actually really open till June.
Okay.
Okay.
Not that we don't have programs outside of our regular summer schedule, but no.
Okay, and next is the photo contest. We've got a flyer in here. They're gonna do a photo contest and they'd like us to judge. The photos will be judged. There's 3 different categories. We'll judge them on our meeting, May 21st. And then announce the winners on the 23rd.
Yes. And I attached the event flyer and I believe I also gave you some of the
So what are these, where are you putting these? Like how are we getting the word out?
the flyers.
Yeah.
The event flyers will go on social media.
Okay,
I'll also send the board a digital copy of those. So if any of you want to put them out in any of your organizations.
okay. Yeah, you got a color copy of
Yes,
it
I do.
that
Yeah.
you can email. That'd be great. Thank you.
So they can photo what?
So,
The district or anything?
yep. So did I attach this sheet in here? This is the registration
No.
form, but also, okay.
Uh-uh.
I'll send that to you as well. But it just says digital submissions can be sent to myself in a JPEG formatting. Does show the dimensions that the photo needs to be, and then some of the criteria is that subject must be within Steuben County, Indiana, and a source of at least 50 years or over. Photographs do need to be, photographs exclusively of natural elements will not be accepted. So the hope is that we're getting more architecture, buildings, locations.
Okay.
So those are some of the criteria for it. And then being judged in 3 categories of color photos, black and white, and then 18 and under.
Okay. So, do they just win or are we gonna display the photo somewhere or do they just win and that's it? Or,
So we would have access to the photos that they're submitting for any of our social media or
Okay.
projects we're maybe gonna work
Okay.
on later. So I think the thought was that we would be able to use those throughout other years
all right.
on various projects.
Okay.
We'll display the winners' photos and they'll get some community recognition for that as well. But just some engagement for Historical Preservation Month.
Maybe we can, and this is just a thought,
Mhm.
maybe we can even, the winners, we can probably add their buildings to a tour once that's
Yeah,
done.
yeah, that we could
You
do
know,
that
as a
too. Yeah,
recognition,
yeah,
maybe if there's
Yeah.
ever decided to, and if any tours
Yeah.
throughout the year are set,
yeah,
like we have in the past, maybe that could be part of the
Yeah, that'd be cool.
winning
yeah.
deal, you know,
Yeah,
that
the
we would.
building that
we
was
would,
photographed or whatever.
And usually in those tours, Allison, just for your, and I don't know if you've heard this, but it's basically on the outdoors. It's never that we go into a building.
Mhm.
So even if an owner is a winner, that doesn't mean we'll go inside their building.
Right,
We can
Yeah,
just
right.
talk a little bit about their,
yeah,
We had discussed at the last meeting, I'll be applying for a grant to hopefully be able to do the QR codes, which has kind of been discussed in years past, where we would have the QR code and then some history about the building. So that could even be a kind of a neat incorporation of the photos that we could use when you scan it to take.
yeah,
to
that'd
the
be great.
website. So,
Yeah.
so I would say kind of a multi-purpose use on the
Mhm.
photos.
Yep.
All right, that sounds great. Okay, HPC meetings for 2025. I think everybody seemed to be okay with the third Wednesdays at 4:30. So just recap of that.
And I believe I sent that in your packets as well, that there's just a
Yeah,
list
the
of all
whole-
those
all
meeting dates.
All of them, yeah.
I will note that September, that date happens to fall on the cruise-in, so we would not meet that day,
Right.
okay.
downtown cruise-in. We can always adjust if when that's getting closer.
If something's going on,
If
we
something's
can
going on and we
call
need
a
to meet,
special day.
We could
Yeah.
do a different day.
Okay. All right, election, discussion of potential new board member. Okay.
So Clay, I believe you had mentioned that there was an interested individual
Mm-hmm,
looking at, I'll say rejoining the board.
yes.
And that was,
The past, person with your position, did not renew that person's, thing, yeah, or,
Membership.
membership.
Term.
Term, yeah, there you go. Couldn't get the word. She did not want to leave, so it
Okay.
was just, I think,
And I reached out to her and we spoke a little bit, so I had
Good.
heard a little bit of the background and just asked her a few questions about being interested in being back on the board, her knowledge with historic preservation, our meeting times, if that would work for her. And then just some things that she would like to see with Angola's historic preservation. I think she would be a good candidate and is very knowledgeable.
Yep.
However, I did let her know I needed to get with the board to decide if you feel like that.
now,
would be
do
a
we
good
need to
candidate.
vote on that?
I would like you to
Okay.
vote on it, yes.
All right, so, the applicant is Luann Holman, who we all know and knows a lot around here, so, if anybody has any issues we can talk about, if not, I can take a, motion to approve Luann as a new board member.
You need a motion.
I would think so, yeah.
Yep. So I'll make a motion to vote on the acceptance of Luann Holman, right?
Yep. Mhm.
To be part of the committee of the Historic Preservation Commission.
Okay,
I will second, although I think those are appointed by the mayor.
yeah, but I think they just want us to be okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah, they are. The mayor, but the mayor, yeah. All right, so, all in favor? Aye? Aye? All opposed? All right,
I saw that.
we are in favor of Luann. So,
I saw she just did a program in the schools.
yeah.
Yes,
Mhm,
that is.
mhm.
Yeah, she's excited about some of the things that we're gonna be working on this year. We talked
Yeah.
about maybe bringing back some of the downtown historical tours again and
Oh, she's great. She's a great
Yeah.
storyteller and she's great with stuff like that.
and even maybe getting the theater department involved in that, and maybe
Oh.
even,
Yeah.
doing some time period characters and
Oh, yeah.
so I think it'll be a good,
Yeah, she does good with the dress up stuff and the characters and all that, so.
And I mean, to be honest, it's lately it's been, we don't meet most of our members, right?
Yeah.
I'm even at fault missing last
Yeah.
meeting. But from in the past working with her, she would always attend meetings.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that's
she was
always beneficial, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's-
Yeah.
That's a
I
plus.
like when we make quorum, so.
Yeah,
I know, right?
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
if she's able to take the opportunity, then I think it'll benefit us.
Great. I will reach out to her this week and let her know.
All
Okay,
right,
thank
sounds
you.
great. All right, sign on 45 South Public Square,
Yes, that's the old.
which is the old Herald Republican
Yes.
building.
So I'm just gonna briefly touch on that. I spoke with Hope already about this project. They were looking at maybe doing some signage on the building to kind of tell about the background of the building. I sent, owner would be Colleen and Craig Everidge. I did send her a COA form. They're not quite at that stage yet. I think they're just in the researching stage on the history of the building. So I would say we don't really need to, I guess, have a huge discussion on this. I
Yeah.
suppose it's more of a, just so you know, that's happening. I did let her know that I'm applying for that grant this fall for the QR codes. So there could be something similar, kind of in the process, which doesn't mean we couldn't do both either.
Right,
But hers sounds maybe more like a placard that would have some information on the building. So I did send her documents she would need for HPC. I'll let you know when or if she's ready to move forward with that project.
And just kind of probably for clearance again for the meeting, due to no COA, we will ignore the document presented. And
Yes.
once the application is
right.
presented, then we will review your
Yes.
request.
yeah.
And thank you for kind of,
Mhm.
making sure that we were aware, giving us at least a heads up of
Yeah.
the project, but when.
Yeah, we.
And similar to we had the Fred Beck sign last week. We didn't necessarily need to vote anything on it, just wanted you to be aware. So,
Yep.
Yeah, it was for sale sign.
Yeah,
in the Stout Law Office building.
yeah, and that way, I
Just
mean,
for cell phones, yeah.
I'm sure Allison has other things to do. If they
Yeah.
don't send the CEO
Yeah,
away, then,
yeah.
you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
we don't want her
Yeah. We don't.
busting
need to worry
numbers on
about
other
it,
stuff.
yeah. Alrighty, reports. Officers, members, got anything?
I do. And the only thing I was gonna bring up is, I don't know how many here from the committee are still, linked to the Indiana landmarks,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if you guys seen the email that there's some, training workshops. There's two. And I seen the cost and it's like $10, right? And there's two of them. And the reason it caught my eye, obviously they send emails all the time. But the reason is, it's about repairs. And we have a lot of people that are owners of buildings that don't truly know how to repair or what
Right.
is repairable.
Right.
So I don't know if there's a way to probably link that email maybe somehow if the city's able to do it or some social media, and let the owners at their own judgment
Like, watch
decide
the
whether
video
they
if you
want to sign up
yeah,
for the
wanna learn
workshops.
it, yeah.
But it would be nice for the commission to present that. I've heard, you know, in the past that they would be interested in more workshops or what they can do with their
Education,
buildings.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a good opportunity, and I can forward it to you if you
Yeah,
want.
let me think about the best way to get that information to some of the, 'cause I think that could even go for historical owners, businesses downtown, but also homeowners that are in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Were these a certain date?
yeah, so they're the first one is April 2nd, and the second one is May 7th. And I think
South Bend?
They usually meet in South Bend. I
Yeah.
thought.
and they have like additional dates, but those are the first ones. And
May what?
May 7th.
What's the topic?
Exterior carpentry repair for the April one, and masonry repair for the May one. And they're, like I said, they're $10.
Yeah, that's.
So
yeah.
it's, if I have a building that is old, $10 would be not that much.
So it's $10 to go to it or to watch it?
Yep, no, you can go to it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that they
Can I
live
just-
stream the class. I think
No.
it's the.
That's too bad. That's too
Yep,
bad.
and it's workshops, and you get to meet people that are, you know, that have some skills. So I'm sure they probably don't want to
Yeah. Right.
for selling
Yeah,
purposes.
true. Yeah.
So that's what I thought that we could
Okay.
bring to the table as an educational program.
Yep.
We brought that up in the past as well for your, just an FYI for you,
Mhm.
that when we were regrouping the whole team, it was like, what do we want to get out of here, right? Let's
Right, yeah.
be really, you know,
Yeah.
make something out of it, just not be certificate approval
Mhm.
kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
group.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things. How can we
Like
provide some education to
yeah.
our area, right?
Yeah. Education to them and to us, you know,
Yep.
always. So, yeah.
So I think that's a good
Yeah.
thing to do.
Could we investigate what it would cost to bring a workshop here?
Sure. I mean, we can always investigate that. Yeah. Yeah.
And the only thing with that, and it's just me talking out of other projects that I worked in. The problem with that is the cost,
Mhm.
maybe, and if it's going to be worthwhile if you have interest.
Right.
If you don't have a lot of people interested in attending on site, then
Yeah.
I think in order to do that, we should investigate the interest
Yeah.
of how many are willing
Yeah.
to attend.
Downtown people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that would be.
Like maybe ask like, what's the interest, and if there's enough,
Well,
then
that's kind of like when we had that guy come that
yeah.
did the Van Wert thing.
Yeah.
We probably had what, 30, 40 people maybe at Brokaw.
And I don't even know if they were all from the local.
That's true. Yeah. I have no clue.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's a good idea, but
Yeah.
it would probably be
Yeah.
best to kind of get a feel of the participation.
yeah, like, is it worth the cost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way we
Right.
can, I mean, sometimes these, getting somebody skilled like that is not cheap.
No, it's
especially if
not.
it's a
No.
away drive, but.
Yeah.
So I was able to take one of their classes. I don't think I had the opportunity to tell you guys that I took their Windows 101 class a few weeks ago and went to South Bend and was able to take that course. It was very beneficial. It was mainly homeowners, I would say, but they
Okay.
were from Ohio to Illinois. I mean, so
Wow.
they actually did have some people that traveled fairly far to
yeah.
take
Wow.
that course. They also the Indiana Landmarks was working with another organization that does a lot of repurposing out of South Bend. So I think that's a part of the reason they're using that location too,
Okay.
because this other organization was working with them.
Right.
I do believe they have a newsletter, so that could even be something good that we could try to see if the businesses or homeowners would want to sign up for their newsletter to just be able to get that information on the
Yeah,
classes.
right, yeah.
We also found out about an organization out of Fort Wayne that does a lot of, very similar to Indiana Landmarks. I believe they're called ARC.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think services this area too. So it could be that they do some classes as well where that would be a 40-minute drive. I'm just starting to do a little research on that organization.
They're the organization that put together the survey book.
Okay.
That in quite a few years.
I'm gonna look them
Many of the
up.
buildings
Yeah, I
are
don't know
not
much
here
about
at some point.
Okay.
Or even
Yeah,
just.
it's not a tour.
Right, yeah.
But could be a good resource that's only, 40 minutes away too.
Right,
So,
true.
that would give people an option of, multiple
Something closer,
organizations.
yeah.
So.
Yep.
Well, and if, we educate ourselves,
Mhm.
we can always put some of that education that we learn, some of those tips and tricks and this kind of stuff into like maybe our walking tours. Like,
Yep.
like here's this building and here's what they did with the windows and this is why this is good or this is why this is not good. Kind of just throw it into some of the history. We can actually talk about like stuff like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like where it's going
Yeah.
because I think if we show the difference,
Mm-hmm.
it's more of instead of just being a historical tour, it's more of an educational tour.
Yeah.
Right?
Both,
Like
yeah.
these windows were the originals and they were approved to do these kind of windows.
Right.
Or
yeah.
this kind of
yeah.
painting. Then if I'm an owner, then I can be like, well, then that makes sense. I can do
Yeah,
something like
we
that
get-
with my
Well,
building. right?
we always want a theme for the tour. Like we had the fire theme, like and then we had the auto and stuff. Like we have different themes. This could be like a remodeling theme or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Ghost
think of a better name. Yeah,
Yeah.
that like ones that have redone things. Like
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
It could tackle two things at the same time.
yeah.
So I will kind of task myself with figuring out maybe how to get some of that information out to, again, the historical downtown, but also, I don't know why homeowners in the area
Mhm.
wouldn't be interested in that. I learned a lot from the meeting. Even the other organization that was with them had, you could rent out tools with them. So like if you
Oh,
were going to
nice.
do a window project, instead of you going and buying all these special tools to repurpose your windows,
That's
you
cool.
could rent them from the organization.
That's
So
pretty cool.
I didn't even know that was a possibility. So again, they only do that in South Bend with that organization.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we have places around here that rent tools, but
It's not this, I'll tell you, it's not the same. Because, like a modern tool.
that's what I was getting ready to
When we
say.
were,
it was all
Klein,
tailored toward
yeah,
Yep.
what the historical repurposing and remodeling but it was still interesting, and even going to those classes and they talked about what tools to use and where you could get them from, and again, even for our committee, I think it would be great if we all went one time to take a course or
Yeah.
to do something like that.
Yeah.
So,
the contractor that repaired the major attic window at the Klein, did it because they had done an old building in cold water.
Mhm.
So when he came to me, he said, we now have the right tools and we now have the skill.
Yeah.
We can do your window.
And I think that's another benefit of our local area folks going out to South Bend. Because they could probably meet other owners that are doing things.
Mhm.
And if we just stick with just this area, you kind of don't do a lot of brainstorming because you
Right.
don't get examples of other people, what they've done to their buildings. So that's another benefit of getting a little bit out of our
Right.
area.
I will probably plan on going unless it's horribly early in the morning or something. That sounds like a Saturday.
I think the one I did was at 12 o'clock or something. It was an afternoon.
Yep, right. They're both 12, so.
Are they?
People
Yeah.
on the Klein board would probably be
Yeah.
interested.
They show Wednesday as the day, Hope.
It's a Wednesday?
Wednesday, April 2nd and Wednesday, May 7th. And one's at a house, the
Which
Kaiser
house?
House,
Yeah.
The what house?
the Kaiser House, and then the other one's at the St. Joseph County Public Library.
Mhm.
But I'll send the email anyways to our
Yeah.
group here,
Yeah.
and that way.
I thought I was a member of that.
Yeah, I constantly, but you constantly get emails.
Yeah.
It's
very
just
easy
the
to
word
miss, 'cause I
workshop
missed it.
caught my
Yeah,
eye.
I missed it. I missed that one.
And
Maybe my membership has lapsed.
Oh.
I don't think I ever got emails.
I'll also email the board, the organization that they partnered with for that training. Because that woman also talked about that if you called and you were going to redo your windows, but you weren't able to do that work yourself, they would refer you to contractors that were skilled in
Nice.
that. So, and she thought maybe she would even have some contacts for our area. So I think it would be beneficial, and I'll email everybody the name of
that is
of
nice.
them as well, even though I know they're located in South Bend.
Yeah.
They may have some resources in this area too.
Cool. Yeah,
Nice,
absolutely.
Thank you. And that's all I had for me.
Okay. Staff comments? Anything?
I will kind of task myself on how to get out some of that information to local areas. My other staff comment is, again, the facade grant is online now. So I will look for the next few months to be fairly busy with those on the agenda.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we've had at least 4 to 5 organizations request that information. So
Wow.
I'll say by next meeting, we'll have some
Have
of those
some.
on the agenda.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
That's
All
it
right.
for me.
I will take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
All right.
I second.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
How's Jody doing? Has anyone seen her?
Who?
Jody,
I see her. She comes to the store. She seems to be doing okay. I asked her how she was doing the other day. I think she's stressed with everything going on, but yeah.